Good morning, everyone. Still here, Mystic, represent www.themystic.com. Good morning, Nicole. Uh, Energy reading for July 7th, 2018. If you've been keeping up, we've been really taking interest in the Mercury opposing Mars, conjuncting the nodes, and really feeling that and feeling our way through it and just trying to find our purpose. And so, when trying to understand and figure out our purpose, we turn to Saturn quincunx or inconjunct the North Node. This shows up as blocks to everything that you think that you want to do or everything that you're trying to do based upon the North Node represents our future and our individual personal future. And if you underestimate Saturn, then you have a lot of ideologies that you're setting forth. You want it this way, you want it that way, you want it to look a certain way, you want it to feel a certain way. Saturn does not care about your ideologies. So when you have a planet like Saturn in conjunct the North Node, our futures, we don't like to think of them as set or written. We like to think of our futures as something that we have control over or destiny over. And so we have to really take a step back when we start to think about our lives and our purpose and our destinies and what we want. Because if we are not cognizant of ourself, our true self, then we will simply be wanting to accomplish or simply be wanting to do what everybody else want us to do. And so Saturn in conjunct the North Node is like you cannot do what everybody else wants you to do. But some of us are bullheaded, some of us are stubborn, some of us are really attached to everybody else's ideas as opposed to our own personal revelations or realizations or connecting with spirit and things of that nature. And for a lot of people, that's not even important. For a lot of people, they rather, as long as everybody is happy, they're happy. But when Saturn in conjuncts the North Node, personal feelings are out the window because we actually have a glimpse into our true future. And whether we like it or dislike it, and feelings from our past lives are coming up, and everything is at its surface right now. And it is our spiritual life and our human life coming to the full forefront. And a lot of us are not equipped to handle it based upon the spiritual not being real to you, or you not actually believing in the spiritual side of life. Everything about life is what you see, and you know what the narrative is and what's on TV and things of that nature. When we discuss spirituality, it's like a novelty. It's interesting. We'll take some notes on that. I'll get back to you on that generally. So I say that to say that when you don't take spirituality seriously, Saturn in conjunct the North Node will knock you on your ass because you are not in tune with self and you are in tune with what everybody expects of you. Now, we also have a water sign grand trine that is not playing around with people. And so let's understand this. Let's understand this. The sun is in Cancer, dealing with the home energy, trining Jupiter in Scorpio. Jupiter in Scorpio, as we talked earlier, is representing the shadow. So when you have a trine against Jupiter in Scorpio and the sun in Cancer, then that is the home and the shadow shit that goes on in the home. This is very, very uncomfortable, and people rather have a pristine image of what a family looks like and to feel good around the family and things of that nature. But the issues and the problems, not that important. But you have access to heal those things, to talk about those things, to bring those things to light based upon realization and spiritual understanding of things. And why do I talk about spirituality and astrology? My thing is, why not? Generally, I don't understand how people can look at the stars and then come with some mundane correspondence to what has happened celestially. So when we have relationships and families and things of that nature, we have to put those things into context and truly understand them for what they are, and then understand where you're going with your life, opposed to how people feel about you. This is very, very tough because the moon is conjunct Uranus throughout the day. It's just now beginning approaching Uranus, and towards the end of the day, it'll be leaving that conjunction. So we have a full day of adjustments, changes, shifts, realignments mentally. And when we discuss realignments, adjustments, changes, and things of that nature, it's like it has to come in the form of a bulldozer, or it's like you cannot easily shift and change and make sure everybody knows like everything is perfect still. That's your fault. If you can't verbalize your feelings or verbalize how you feel about shit, then you will hold that shit in and nobody will know. And you'll suffer in silence. Ultimately, this thing is about you and how you feel. Because ultimately, people say how you feel is unimportant. So, understanding these shifts, understanding these changes, understanding that family, shadow, dreams, spiritual legacy, spiritual healing, all of these things take forefront. So there may be something going on that pulls your attention outside of yourself, but that's not going to be the thing that saves you or makes it better. It's still inner work that needs to be done. It's still understanding that needs to take place. And so this is astrologically what's going on. Oh, and also the sun is opposed Pluto. So, and it's approaching that opposition. It's just now beginning. And so where Pluto is offering transformation in our lives, the sun is not really for it or really doesn't understand this transformation. But as we go into our eclipse season and this sun opposed Pluto, it's good to know where this energy is leading, as opposed to it just surprising you, showing up on your doorstep one day, transformation. You know. Hi everyone joining the chat. Uh, so all of this shows up as blocks, internal turmoil, because everything that we've idealized and things that we truly, truly wanted, it may not be what we truly, truly wanted. So how do we pivot? Very difficult, very tough stuff. Now, if you are having a perfect life, please, in the comments to this video, tell us your secret and offer us your services, okay? Because we're looking for soul solutions, not deeper stuff. And so we're going to look at the tarot of this thing. We have, what's the reason? What's the primal cause? And so we have the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is representing interference. Interference from our previous plans or goals, that we thought may have been the best solution for us, but spirit is coming in and saying, well, maybe you don't know the best thing for you. And so before we able to process it and things of that nature, we'll just react. And so that creates mental disturbance, mental health problems, mental health issues, because we're not living in our truth and we are simply trying to make other people happy. And this is not a popular conversation. I don't expect people even to agree with me. What I do hope for is that people will give me a solution as to what to do about this soul energy rising up and my humanity not really deserving a shout out, really. I need to focus more on my spirituality, but my humanity is like, well, I'm here too. You can't just ignore me like that. And I'm just like, well, maybe I can. That's my solution. I need something better than that. And so the Seven of Wands, really working for your own goal. And whether people call you selfish or people say, that's not right, you shouldn't have done that. That's up to them. Because ultimately, you have to do what's best for you. Everybody needs to do what's best for them in general. And so really action and orientating your life towards your goals and your personal vision for yourself outside of people's pressure. Dominion. Taking charge. Why would you even want to do that, though? Why wouldn't you just do what everybody wants you to do so everybody could be happy? Well, you're not gonna access your wealth. And that's what we're here for. Not just financial wealth. We're talking about spiritual prosperity, emotional prosperity, mental prosperity. Shit, just being happy every damn day. Just being happy. Because you with like minds and everybody understands what's going on. And your future is not determined by, these influential people. Your future is determined by your connection to your soul. And everybody around you is connected to their soul and they're going their own way. But you have to do that first. Because if you still connected to shit that's not serving you well, you'll attract more people that's connected to that same BS. And you wouldn't be none the wiser. You'll be thinking like, well, what the hell is wrong with me? It's just important that you connect to spirit and really deal with the negativity of connected with spirit and that humanity that rises to the surface. That's like, no, don't leave me. But July 7th, the energy, feel it really scattered. Pretty sure tomorrow will be better, but for now, just have to deal with these oppositions and these inconjunctions and things kind of solidifying themselves. Moon conjuncting Uranus is bringing a lot of changes, a lot of turbulence into the area. So just handling that throughout the day. We are really approaching a new moon solar eclipse. So really to just be clear, this energy is extremely crazy. And this is not something that makes you crazy. It makes you just understanding the energy crazy. And be sure not to lash out on people. Because what you're dealing with internally, you're dealing with it internally. And when we deal with things internally, the moon is conjunct Uranus today. When you deal with things internally and you don't really have any context, then the first thing to do is just lash out on the people that's close to you instead of realizing the issue or the problem or where these blocks coming from. Especially if you're experiencing blocks, then it's like, you're blocking me. Well, ultimately, you're blocking yourself because you refuse to connect with the things that are true to you and speak your truth. So, it's a lot. 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 But it's a solution with connecting to spirit and dealing with all the negative that rises to the surface and really having an outlet, a positive outlet. So I appreciate you guys for this channel because it gives me a positive outlet to deal with anything that I'm not necessarily frustrated with. I just feel the energy, and the energy, I cannot hide it or deny it. So I would like to be on here and be positive and gleeful, but I just can't be, because we have a T-square to Jupiter and Scorpio between Mars and the nodes, and that is cleaning house. Indeed. Email me at hoodmystic@gmail.com. Uh, the readings are always there. The energy is always there. And maybe it's a difficult time for you. Maybe it's been a difficult month. Maybe things have kind of did a 180. So really understanding the energy, how it lines up for you, is very important, man. So that was my energy reading for July 7th. Just remain to be clear. Don't lash out. Don't blame people. Don't look for reasons as to why outside of yourself. Remember to connect. Indeed, very difficult. The thing of it is, we need to begin to connect to ourselves, connect to our purpose, and live that out. When we're connecting to ourselves and living our purpose, it generally puts things at ease. And that's what Spirit is really on our necks about, as opposed to just living a normal, idealized life. We need to reconnect to something stronger, more powerful than maybe a familial pressure to keep us into cycles. We need to break those cycles, and it's very important. So peace and love. Like I say every time, love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Be sure to follow up with me. Let me know how this energy is showing up for you. And I do challenge anybody who's living that perfect life to leave that in the comments, your solution to this energy, for the people who may be struggling with it. So peace and love. Mad love from me and my family to all the families out there. See you guys later.